Sisterlocks may or may not be for you. They certainly are not for everyone. But even for those of us who feel that Sisterlocks are for us, they may not be able to go the distance. This video is going to talk about some of the reasons that may interfere with your ability to sport this hairstyle indefinitely.
Do you have dark spots from skin irritation? How about unsightly marks from acne that's lasted way too long? Fade Magic can help you find your way back to radiance over time. Don't delay, order yours today.
When we set out to take on this style, we take on this style, the majority of us thinking that it's going to be a lifestyle, something that will endure and stand the test of time. For those of you who are in that camp, this video is for you. For those of you who are in the camp of having made the decision to transition to Sisterlocks or Microlocks, or any type of lock whereby it's interlocked or it's using a tool and it's not the larger size locks like traditional locks. For anyone who has made the choice to transition for a lifestyle, you're going to want to stick around and hear what I have to say. But if you're in the camp of those people who are doing it because it's trendy or it's a fad and you don't have any intentions of doing it for a long time, you're not going to need this video, because this video is going to tell you some of the things that you're going to have to be prepared to confront if this is going to be a lifelong style for you, or if your intention was that it's going to be a lifelong style for you. There are a lot of things that you will learn as you go further into your Sisterlocks journey. You can't learn them if you have not been presented with these things as challenges. You also cannot learn them if you are in blind adherence to the Sisterlocks philosophy or the camp of people that are moving headstrong into eventually coming face to face with some of the things that I'm talking about. If you're not willing to use your God-given common sense, okay, or if you're not someone that is willing to think outside of the box, you're also going to have difficulty digesting some of what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about real issues. I'm talking about things that I have experience with firsthand. I'm talking about things that I have experience with secondhand by way of your anecdotal records and your testimonials and some of the things that you text into the channel regarding. I've had Sisterlocks, or I had Sisterlocks for 13 years, all right? And I started out very much like you. Blind adherence, other than the fact that my install day put me in a space where I had to decide whether or not I was going to let my loctician put oil in my hair, because I was in blind adherence to the Sisterlocks philosophy, and she was trying to tell me, listen, lady, I have been doing natural hair. I'm a master cosmetologist. I know about natural hair, and I'm telling you, you need oil on your hair. A word to the wise is sufficient. She was not throwing pearls to swine that day. But for the most part, I was a greenhorn, and I was looking for information which was non-existent because nobody wanted to talk about Sisterlocks. Heck, I found out you couldn't even get a tool, or no one wanted you to see the tool, and they didn't want you to see the grid, and they actually thought that the process was patented. Okay, so there was this hush-hush quiet energy around something. It was surrounded in secrecy, which bred a lot of ignorance, but also now is breeding and keeping more information out of the hands of those of you who need the information, especially if you're not willing to think outside the box. So what I want to talk to you about today is I, like you, approached this with the same level of innocence. And it was through my experience beyond 5 years, once my locks began to mature, which took my locks quite a long time to mature. And it was through my experience with a lot of you on the channel that I realized something is going on. Early in my journey, I would begin to see sisters who were sister-locked, but their hair was thinning, and it was thinning quite profoundly, especially in the crown or around the edges. And these were people who had had their locks for extended periods of time. Once I became the head butterfly in charge over here on this Sisterlocks channel, I began to hear more and more stories. I began to become concerned, but I already had some concerns, having worked with hair my whole life, but not being a loctician. I didn't need to be a loctician or a master cosmetologist to see that there were some problems happening within the community, and that there were some problems happening because of some of the things that we subscribe to with this hairstyle. So I began to see more thinning. I began to get your pictures. I began to realize what was going on. I also began to realize that although my hair fundamentally was strong, I was not myself going to be able to continue down this road until I put some interventions in place. If it was my hope to continue to have Sisterlocks and to go the distance, I was going to need to put some interventions in place. Now, I was already very particular about my hair. I was already washing my own hair. I was already detangling my hair, making sure that my locks were not getting entangled. I was already using oil on my hair. I was already taking care of my scalp. I was already in the process of inspecting what I expected. I was already in the process of even taking out some of my locks and redoing them. I never had a fear of dealing with my own hair. And so I would always advocate for that on the channel. At some point, I decided to do my own retightnings for the front of my hair. Before that, though, I decided to learn how to do the retightening and to do my own retightening. And I did that a couple of 3 times, all right? So I was already sort of stepping outside of conformity, thinking for myself and listening to my intuition. I decided to take over the front part of my locks because I began to realize that the crown and the edges were very high traffic areas, and that typically was going to be the area where the hair loss was going to happen first, okay? Depending upon your particular situation, depending upon the angle at which your loctician is, depending upon your the physics of how you are located in proximity to your loctician, where the brunt of the force is going to come from, in addition to the areas where we tend to style and pull our hair more, sometimes those are high traffic areas. So I wanted to alleviate some of that. I would also wash my own hair. I would detangle before I went in for retightenings. I would make sure that my hair was nice and oiled, and it was going to be as easy as possible for my loctician. But the majority of people are not going to be able to do that. The majority of people are not going to be prepared to do that. And eventually, even if you are doing that, unless you are taking the stress off of your hair with multiple other things that you're going to need to be doing, 9 times out of 10, you're going to become familiar with the trials and tribulations of those who have gone before you, which are the multitude of women who beyond 5, 9, 10, 15 years begin to experience thinning, dropping of locks, more scalpy areas, going bald, and there's nothing that they can do about it at that time because they're still getting the retightenings, and oftentimes they are told that it is an issue that is hormonal, it is related to stress, it is related to something else other than the Sisterlocks themselves, in the way that they are being maintained by the loctician and in the way of the requirements of this particular trademarked brand. There are some things that you're going to have to be mindful of that you may not have thought about before, and that's what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to help you to realize that you need to come in out of a place of denial, and you need to accept the reality of what makes sense, and that when information is coming to you that you may not be able to relate to at the time, still utilize your analytical skills and your common sense so that you can arrive at a place that puts you more to an advantage when and if a similar situation should come knocking on your door one day. Understand that this is a risky hairstyle for those people who want to go the distance and have this hairstyle indefinitely. Period. If you're just planning for 5 or 10 years, you might do okay, although many people on this channel still are having issues with it even at that point because we don't have the same quality pool of locticians that we used to have, and we have all sorts of things going on in this marketplace, from cash grabbing and doing it just to be able to make money, to trying to take advantage of what the market will bear in terms of pricing, to poor training implementation, and the hidden casualties that many people are not aware of. Now we have the internet. Now we can talk about this. Now we can form communities. Now we can try and support one another to arriving at a place where we are informed with knowledge and information. The grid itself is problematic. It becomes more problematic when you have pulling and excessive tension and tightening. The grid itself is problematic for the same reason that rain causes erosion. It is the rain in the same place that caused an entire mountain to be visible. All right. It doesn't take long to walk back and forth in the same area during the summertime and see that the grass no longer grows there. The grid itself long term can potentially be a problem. That is why, notwithstanding all of the things that you may think that you are doing to help your hair and to mitigate hair loss, over time, your locks are likely to thin, okay, more than they would if you did not have the grid or you were not concerned about parts and you let your hair just kind of flow to the hair spaces that it wanted to. The next thing that is a problem, no matter how you look at it, is the constant retightening. Do you hear that word, tightening? It has come to my attention that some people are now doing this as frequently as 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. That's a no-no. I don't care how thin your hair is. Your hair will get thinner. If your hair is that thin and you're having a problem, then Sisterlocks is not going to solve your problem. It is going to exacerbate your problem, and you need to question having had them installed in the first place. Sisterlocks, if they're going to be installed, should be installed on a healthy head of hair. Okay, if you have low density hair, or your hair is thin, or it's fine, you need to take certain things under advisement. You need to make sure you have someone who's willing to take that into consideration and is taking that under advisement when they're parting your hair and when they're doing your retightenings, which will make them very tight again and again and again. So the retightenings themselves are a problem. Even more of a problem is the frequency of the retightenings. Like, you cannot be going in for retightenings that work against the natural growth cycle, that put more stress on your hair. Next, what is going to be the problem is the tension and the pulling, as evidenced by your pain and your discomfort in the chair. I heard a story today whereby a master technician did a sister's locks, and it was so painful. She herself had lost all of her hair as a master technician or a master consultant. She herself had lost all of her hair, but she was doing retightening so tight that it caused the client to actually lose a lock, and it caused her to be in serious pain. You're going to lose your locks that way. If you have any pain whatsoever and that continues, you're going to lose your locks. If you are obsessing over your grid, you're going to lose your locks. If you refuse to use oil and you refuse to wet your hair on a regular basis and use oil to give your hair the nutritional support that it needs, you are going to lose your locks. If you hear the tool snag on your hair, if you are experiencing any type of pain, if you have had any of your locks married, you are going to lose your hair eventually. Those are the pitter patter. Those are the breadcrumbs. Those are the signs. Every coming event casts a shadow. That is the shadow of what is to come. It will be more of that to come. And as you continually do the same thing over and over and over, you have laid the foundation and created the etheric template for systemic hair loss. Bar none, it will happen. It is just a matter of when. So these are things that you need to take under advisement. These are things that need to cause you to change the way you see your Sisterlocks. Either accept that you're not going to have them for long, or either accept that you're going to begin to do them yourself, and you're going to begin to take some of these additional pressures off of your hair, and maybe you can sustain and withstand the onslaught of some of these rituals for a bit longer. Should you reach a point where you need another alternative and what you are doing is not working and you're still experiencing hair loss, you are going to have to take the stress off of your hair. And there are many things that you can do. I'm going to link a video right now. We're at almost 15 minutes. I'm going to link a video here, and I want you to check out one or two of these videos. I want you to understand how serious this is. I want you to understand the necessity of heeding the call. Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. I do not care what anyone tells you. I'm not concerned about what your loctician says. She is not you. And oftentimes you will have locticians who will sit over your hair and put that kind of repeated stress and strain, even though you have signified that it is hurting, but then who will come in after you've lost hair and still continue to retighten and go about business as usual. You will oftentimes even have them, and this is not every loctician. I've had two great locticians, thankfully, but I was also on top of my hair. Period. End of discussion. I was an active participant in my own rescue. I'm not going to sit in a chair and not be doing things to intervene on my own behalf and not be proactive. So I would venture to say, because I was proactive, I didn't run into some of the problems that I was bound to run into further down the line had I kept this up. So you must understand that it is the onus is on you, the wearer of the lock. A lot of times, clients, people who write into me have continued to see the loctician consultant when the locks were being married and they were not aware. The locks were dropping out and were on the floor at the end of a visit. They just got used to it. The loctician would reattach them, and or they were going bald and your hair was becoming more scalpy, and the loctician never said anything. What is the point of having someone to work on your hair who you develop a relationship with, who many of you love, who many of you place your hair fate in, if when the alarm bell starts to sound, you are not alerted to what is going on with your hair? This is why you must inspect what you expect. Check out my two videos, 21 Signs of Thinning Locks, okay, because you don't always see it. It's very insidious. You have a sense that your hair is thinning. It just simply doesn't feel as thick as it used to. You're not sure if you're seeing more scalp than you need to. But then before you know it, if you don't arrest that situation, you have a whole nother litany of problems. So 21 reasons why your locks are thinning and 21 things that you can do to help arrest the situation. I'm currently adding number 22, which is transition to knotted locks. And you all know I will continue to support you on this channel, and I'll continue to talk about Sisterlocks because it's not going away anytime soon. I do believe eventually it will go away. It's going to have to, because it is going to have to make room for an evolved way of styling hair that embraces your hair right to freedom, that embraces all aspects of your African texture hair and allows you to move with confidence, freedom, and ease, and allows your follicles to be fearless. So while we're at it, many of you have experienced great success with the magical hair growth serum, which is to help you to get your hair back on track. Once you begin to see the warning signs, many of you have regrown hair in areas, but it does not help for you to continue to put your hair under the same stress that this product is helping you to arrest. Many of you use these in tandem with one another. This is the main premium hair oil that you can use once, twice a week, or at whatever frequency you determine. And then some of you will use these two together in tandem. This is the night one. This is the daytime. Night, daytime, night, daytime. Or you can alternate this during the week every other day and use this one on the off nights. It's up to you. I've put the usage instructions down here. The gentleman who you see often in the commercials or in the ads on my channel used it 5 days a week, all right? I recommend you do a test for all of my products to make sure that you don't have any particular allergies. But regardless of what you do, you must take action, and you must take action today, because hair loss does not wait. It is insidious. It is a very catastrophic event. It is something that it can be humiliating. It can be a cause of shame when you begin to deal with issues with your crown. Okay? They say heavy is the head that wears a crown, but I can promise you one thing. These are not the kind of problems that you expected to have when you decided to get Sisterlocks and Microlocks. But due to a lack of education and a general ignorance that has become acceptable in this marketplace, we cannot continue to walk around in the dark. It's important that you examine what your options are, and it's important that you consider the things that you can do if you have these two styles that can help you to preserve your hair health, your follicle health, and also long-term live longer with the style. You're with Tunisia Ali of Butterfly Transformations and Tunisia's Locs Beauty Tips and Potpourri, also known as the I Am Melanin Magic brand. If you have not purchased my book, Manifesting Your Masterpiece, you can get that on Amazon or you can get it on Barnes & Noble. I love you. I appreciate you. Please put your information in the comments. For those of you who are considering transitioning to knotted locks, put your information in the comments. So many of you have set up appointments with Miss Blake's. Many of you I never hear from on the channel. But this channel is the reason why, from what I'm getting, that you have transitioned to knotted locks. But there's a lot of shame around hair loss. There's a lot of shame around hair loss, but we must come out of the closet and we must talk about some of these things, and we must be willing to invest what we need to invest on a personal level and on a resource level in order to try and combat and counteract some of what is happening regarding hair fall, hair loss, hair thinning, issues regarding self-esteem, and so many other things that we've gotten used to in terms of trauma that have become acceptable, unfortunately, but are now unacceptable. Okay, I hope you have a beautiful day, afternoon, morning, or evening whenever you're watching this video. Continue to come back. Give this video a like, share, subscribe. If you forget to do that whenever you watch these videos, I ask that you watch them to the end. I ask that you share these videos so that we can get the word out and we can begin to talk to more women that have Sisterlocks, Microlocks, and any of the other locks for that matter about things that they can do to help maintain their hair health. It's time we all become experts over the crown and glory. I love you and thanks again. Welcome to Tunisia's Locs, Beauty Tips, and Potpourri, the channel where we get it all in. You can also learn more about the I Am Melanin Magic brand. Thank you for stopping by. I want to take a few moments to share with you some of the successes that the I Am Melanin Magic hair brand is having. Jimmy here, along with his father, have been dealing with hair loss presenting as bald patches and thinning throughout his hair for over 10 years. He decided, by way of his girlfriend, to give I Am Melanin Magic a try. With consistent use of the I Am Melanin Magic Magical Hair Growth Serum, using it 5 days a week for 8 weeks, these are the results that he was able to get. I Am Melanin Magic.
If you are not using Melanin Magic hair oil, then what are you using?
Hi, I'm the creator of the I Am Melanin Magic skin and hair care brand. The I Am Melanin Magic hair oil is our premier product. It is the leading high-end supplement for your mane.
It reduces breakage and promotes growth and can be used on all hair types and looks, from straightened hair and microlocks to wigs and protective styles. It's antifungal, antibacterial, and it's anti-funk, so you know you're protected.
It softens and conditions your hair, and it's anti-frizz too.
Hey guys, so I started using this oil called I Am Melanin Magic since February of this year, and check out the new growth. Like, it's insane. Not only did it help with my new growth, but it smells amazing too.
See the dramatic improvements Denisha has made after not having hair around her edges for 3 years. Tanya's hair had been like this for almost 20 years, and while getting injections. Her doctor said it was scarred and would never grow back. After 4 weeks of using I Am Melanin Magic, this is what she looked like. I Am Melanin Magic did this to Danette's hair after a short time. This is really all your hair needs. It's rich with antioxidants, loaded with growth-promoting ingredients. Look at the growth of my hair. It's amazing. The product speaks for itself. Order yours today and don't delay. Don't delay. Purchase yours today.
I Am Melanin Magic,
And so are you.